I know, even when we know the Lord, right? When we reintroduced, and it's like when you get introduced to the Lord a different way, it's like I feel like it's stages of being saved, right?
Yes.
And I think I talked about this with Lecrae actually. And one of those stages is the beginning stage where like you're super excited about the Lord and you want to tell everybody, right? But that can be weird to like the people around you.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, even when you go back home, because you from here, right? So I'm pretty sure you know people here. They know you as like, this is Lee. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even when you come back to Atlanta, people know you from who they thought you were, or who you were, right?
Yes.
How is those relationships now that you have this deeper understanding and this closer relationship and bond with God? Like, how was it navigating in those spaces though?
Yeah, good question. What I'll say is that God has always done really good at pruning people out of my life for me. You know what I'm saying? People I've wanted to hold on to, God just be like, nope. You know what I'm saying? So actually, when I moved back, it wasn't a whole lot of mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when, like, there were some people that kind of tried to come back in but now I had discernment, and now I was on assignment, and now I was like tapped in with the Lord. I was like, I'm not even going to entertain that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then there were other people, like my man, who
okay, my man.
who knew me before, and then, but he's been a man of God. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he used to. He saw me at my worst. You know what I'm saying? And so when I came back to Atlanta, he embraced me and was like, yeah, like, you know, and really, really, really kind of showed me a whole new version of Atlanta. So, yeah.
That's dope. You know, it's funny. So when you, I just thought about this. Like you were talking about you sitting on your bed, right? Talking to God, like, yo, like, what you need me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do I need? You know, and then you get redirected. Like, what do you need from me, right? And like that's your first time hearing it. And it reminded me of this because it's so different in the way of not just how you heard him, but in what we're used to, right? So, all right, this is I don't even know why I looked this up, right? But so when we talk about like your culture and your heritage, right, and making music, when it comes to like Puerto Rican, Dominican, and African American descent people that do music, like you have like Cardi B, Dave East, Lloyd, Melly, Fabulous, so many other more, right? Like, so it's just, this isn't like new.
Yeah.
But what is new, from my understanding, is I think like you're like one of the first ones of the descent to do a gospel music. And I'm like, was it ever any pressure there? Like, well, because you see people doing the music, and it's like, well, I mean, this works. Again, like when you're doing Broadway, you see Heather Hadley, who did that before, so like I can do that.
Yeah,
right?
like like
was it any
a
pressure like, yo, like
trajectory.
these people do it, like why not me? I can't do it like that.
Yeah.
Did you feel that or at all? Did you
Do
even
it
know
like
that?
what?
Like I can still do it my way, right? Like I heard God, but I still can do it my way.
Yeah.
I can because it works.
Yeah.
And I can, if I just follow the pattern, it can work for me too.
Yeah. So, you know,
did you ever even think about that?
I did.
Oh wow.
Right? Because when I heard God tell me to like do music, right? I was like, okay, so I'm doing music for God. What does that sound like? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, God made me an artist, right? God made me a creative, and God gave me all of the cultural exposure that I have for a reason, right? And I didn't know like how I could do music for God. And honestly, that was a part of why I like didn't. So when I was like 12, we were in church, and like I felt like in my 12-year-old body, I was like, I feel like God like wants me to do music for him. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of rejected that thought because I was like, there's no way, because I won't be able to, you know,
do it my way.
Do it right. Do it the way that like I feel creative and like happy, you know? And because by that time I was already like, I'm gonna do bilingual pop R&B. Like I was always set on it from the time I was a kid. And so I was like, how do I do this like for God, you know? And I think that I was really blessed. I've been really blessed to be able to, you know, have experience as an independent artist. And it's like, I can put it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to wait for anybody to like get it or, you know, kind of co-sign. It's like, I can put it out and I can work it, and I can, you know, interact on and engage in social media in a way that's like real for me and authentic for me. And the people who this is for, they're going to find it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what my prayer has always been to this day is like, Lord, whoever needs to hear this, let them hear it. You know, everybody isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think right now, I try not to focus on like, will, you know, this fit into any boxes or, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't fit into any boxes. So it's impossible for me to put my expression into a box in that way. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like God did that on purpose. I think God did that really intentionally for my life. So I'm really passionate about fighting for that vision. You know what I'm saying? That God's put in me as a creative.
That's another thing that I didn't quite understand. It's because it sounds like the music you do, it doesn't sound like it just came overnight. It's not like you've been doing this type of music because it sounds good, right? But again, in my mind, I'm like, all right, because I can't find none of the pop music. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but can't find none of the pop music. And even like on American Idol, because you was doing American Idol, right?
I did.
I don't think you performed a gospel song.
No.
Right. So it's like, even then, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, she did pop music, but now this is a more, I don't know, traditional R&B for the Lord. And I'm like, how did that transition go? Like, how did that happen? Like, did you know you could sing this well? And because it's a different cadence. When I hear pop, I hear like 90s pop, like the kids, fun, the kids pop. It's like, you know, turned up. And when I listen to your R&B now or your music now for God, it sounds like a love letter to God. It sounds so. It doesn't sound hard to listen to because I feel like I've heard this music in other ways before. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, like, did you have help with this? Like, how was that transition from like this pop music to like this traditional R&B for God?
Well, I'm a songwriter. Like, I write all my music. And when I, moved to Atlanta, that was part of my hustle, I was trying to figure out how to get in rooms, writing across different genres. And, like I said, I'm a real music nerd. I study music history. Like, I really love I love music history, and I love the way that like the sounds of the time really serve as like a marker of what was happening culturally and creatively and historically. And so I think that I've always loved R&B music. I've always loved pop music. I've always loved Latin music. And anything that comes out is just like coming from that real place of like what I like, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm going through at the time, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the songs that are on my EP. And I love that you keep saying it sounds like a love letter to God, because that's kind of what it is. Like when he told me to do music again, I didn't have an audience. I had 28 monthly listeners on Spotify. Like, I was like
hitting like over 100,000.
Yeah, like I don't, and I didn't have an audience. I didn't have an idea of like, who I'm writing for, who this is for. I'm just writing it to God. And that's where my EP From Me to God came from, was that real place. And actually the first song I wrote in like 2 years was the song Liberate Me, which is like kind of like a Latin R&B bilingual kind of, journey of a song. And, everything else came after Liberate Me. And so I'm really just like, I really just love to be creative, and wherever I am, whatever I'm feeling, that's the music that comes out at that time.